Hey, world builders, welcome back to Build Together. This is day 256. Today's prompt is, how are historical events remembered in the present day of your world? Are there any events where certain groups hold biases of it, especially in education? And this comes from Kendamarania in the Discord. Now, this is kind of two questions, and so I really took and ran with the first, which to me sparked this idea of actually writing about Attovian historicity. Now, historicity broadly is the discussion of the historical authenticity of documents, of recordings, and oral histories, and things like that. And so I wanted to really get some of that down. And it's not a long document, but I had some discussion with myself in this document about sort of the different groups and ethnicities and how historically accurate and authentic their work and recordings of their own histories are. Now, as one might imagine, the oldest living ethnicities tend to have some of the most historically accurate, but not potentially authentic writings. Now, the Ruganians and Elves, for this reason, have the most consistent writing, and their historical records seem to be really accurate. The Rugadians are the most by a good stretch. The Elves, however, have a lot of tampered references, tampered stories that don't always line up with other third party groups. And this seems to lend itself to any time that there's something that's discussing leadership or the monarchy. The humans, the gnomes, and the draconos keep written records, but theirs are a lot more prone to sort of the two-way leakage of, fact leaving and religious sentiment coming in. And these are pretty much your analog to our real world ancient or longer term historical writings and documents and cultures. Then you have the Udi, the Girivgal, the Samani, and the Baibon that are all a little bit more tribal or nomadic. The Baibon actually are highly nomadic. They live almost exclusively in the Twilight Desert. And because part of their society and how you gain respect in their culture is so memory based, they are one of the better and more accurately remembered and historically recounted groups of these more tribal oriented ethnicities because that memory component is so important. Then you have an outlier that a lot of the Etobian academics don't discuss that much, which is the Onkans, who live below the ground in the Goa, these strange spider people who keep web-based silk diaries where they kind of laud and over embellish and completely fabricate a lot of elements of the current matriarch of the Onkans of the Goa at that time. How are historical events remembered in the present day of your world? Are there any events where certain groups hold biases of it, especially in education? Thanks for building together.